Welcome back to the Nafeesa Dangor Show, and it's definitely a chilly Wednesday afternoon, but you have to be sitting in your lounge with a hot cup of coffee to listen to this next interview because this guy is definitely going to warm us up with his inspiration. And this is Refiloe Rantakoe. Now, let me tell you about him. He started working at the age of 8. But he is, of course, the founder of Borotho Bakery. Now, this started off as a side hustle and has now turned into a 25-employee business. In 2016, the price of bread went up twice. Rantakoe started talking to various business people in his township to find out how this would affect their businesses. Refiloe took a 50,000 Rand loan and left his corporate job as he was unhappy with his chosen career. This saw the beginning of Borotho Bakery in Soweto, meaning simply bread. A very good afternoon to you, Refiloe, and thank you so much for joining me on the Nafeesa Dangor Show.
How are you? Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm humbled.
I think the pleasure is ours. It's always nice to showcase people that have, inspired us in many directions, and I think you're one of them. Talk to us about your journey. It's quite an interesting one. I mean, as we know, when kids grow up in the township, the environment's very different. The type of journey they experience is also different. And I know you started working at the age of 8 already.
Yeah, man, it's been the tough one. It's nice to read these things about me that this is what I do and everything. But it's the foundation of everything. I was raised by my grandmother. Um, my mother passed on when I was 11, and then I've never seen my dad in 30 years of my life. So I've been having hard knocks childhood in a way. But the foundation that my grandmother instilled in me, it was that I need to survive with what it was selling that time, of which, as I've said, I've started selling when I was 8 years old. Not necessarily that I liked what I was doing, but perhaps God has gave me that mind of understanding things, even if when I was young. So I liked it as time goes when I start maturing, seeing that I can survive by just taking things and go the street and sell it. So since
Mhm.
I started selling when I was 8 years old, yes, it's a reality. So I completed my matric in 2008, but I never had so much aspirations of going to varsity, study something and everything like that. My mind has been always on how can I put something on the table, perhaps the skills that I acquired when I was young are enough for me to just go on the street and see what I can do.
Yeah, and I think you've also, the career you were in, you were not so happy with. But of course, like you say, sometimes you have to put food on the table, and that is what you had to do at that point in time. But that didn't stop you. You decided that you are definitely going to pursue your passion and, of course, take it further from where you were. But you worked with Bidfest, am I right?
Yeah, I was doing learnership with them, travel and hospitality back in 2011 for a period of 1 year. So that has helped me to, be exposed to the corporate environment because I was working more inside the office, doing phone calls, emails, all those kind of things. So part of it, I've acquired enough skills for me to sharpen up my mind personally, because it's more of a learnership is something that's gonna maybe put me in the right direction. So that
Mhm.
has helped me back into my business. That how can I maybe arrange deals? How can I speak to people? And do something with sales in a very formal way of doing things. So what I've learned with Bitverse has helped me as well to become a better salesperson, mentality kind of person.
Yeah, no, the reason I brought that up is because sometimes I think we don't actually realize the places we're in before we actually head to where we really want to. Helps us acquire those things that we need to actually move forward with. And I think this, like you say, has helped you in many directions because being there at Budvest had taught you many, should we say, business skills as such, so that when you did go into your own environment, you actually had some idea on how to go about doing things.
It goes along with the personality of any human being because of there are many people out there who acquire different skill set from different environment. Particularly, maybe there are people who come from universities and stuff, but you can never coach when the maybe qualification with the talent or with the passion. So in me, I combine both my passion and the skills that I've learned from the office or the corporate environment. So I made that one thing. So it made me a better person in terms of how I boost myself in terms of confidence, or how can I portray myself, how can I easily, not necessarily easily, but speak to other human being on the other side of the world. So business is something else that goes alone, but at the same time the corporate environment is something that goes alone. But when you combine both those kind of things, they can make you a better entrepreneur, I assume, because of I've learned much on how I maybe shy in a township slang, but in English
Yes.
maybe to become a better a better salesperson, you know. So it makes easy for me to kind of understand how the business works, because of I was working more with the government clients or the corporate clients. Then we will, you know, do the travel bookings for them. How do we speak to these people professionally? So I brought that thing even when I started the business. I've understood most of the ins and out from the corporate environment. Yes.
Now that makes a lot of sense. Talk to me about the inception, because I know in 2016 you actually spoke to other business owners in the area of Jabavu in Soweto, and you realized that the price of bread had increased twice already, and you felt that they, you know, I mean, of course, bread is a necessity for every person. So I think learning from that, you decided to, of course, go into that environment and create a more sustainable, affordable way for people to actually eat every day. Let's put it that way.
When the price of bread went up twice, it coincidentally linked with something that I was busy doing the mindset, because I want one business that I can just grow myself into, because of I've been doing many things. During my office time, I was selling arch, I was selling happy socks, I was selling almost anything that can just attract the people that I'm working with. So what I mean by that, I was still in the office, but my other foot or my other part of my mind was still outside, thinking of, okay, how can I go out there and do something that I like the most, as much as I like here in the office. But I was feeling a little bit close-minded, because I was not really doing what I feel the most. You know what I'm saying? So I was told how to do things. So those things will bring frustration in me. So by the time when the price of bread went up twice, something triggered in me, like, okay, can be something you can just put yourself into. Maybe you're gonna, strike up. And then I didn't really do much of the research. I don't want to lie. But what I did, it was just wait to wait with the people who utilize bread. If you've been to the township before, there are a lot of bunny chows or quotas here in the township. So I
Yes,
started
that's
making small
right.
engagement with those people and checking how much bread do they consume a day, and then how much do they pay, such things. I wanted something that can really convince me, because of part of my mind I was convinced, but I wanted to be very, very, very convinced that, okay, fine, I'm going to have 3 clients that I can be able to give them my bread. And then, yeah, and then I was taken that, okay, fine, I'm going to be the bread guy of the future. So yeah, easily like that, I convinced myself, because of even if when I was young doing the sailing thing, I had confidence in me. So part of my mind, I knew that, okay, I'm going to make this thing the magical thing, and then I'm going to make sense to people with this thing, as much as it's going to be like, okay, we don't trust you, but I knew that I'm going to convince people to buy into it, even if it can be bit tasty, but we're going to improve it as time goes.
What was it like making your first loaf of bread? How did it feel when you pulled that first loaf of bread out and said, I made this myself?
It was very, very bad. Very bad. The taste and everything was so bad.
Really?
But the thing is, yeah, I was just happy to see it being produced by us. And then I was like, okay, we can move the mountains. So starting from that day, I knew, yeah, I started believing in myself very, very much that, okay, this is the actual bread. So we can improve it from here moving forward. Even the people who first bought it, they never had so much guts on telling us that this bread is bad. They were just excited to see the bread around the township from nowhere, at the cheapest price. And then when time goes, we started improving our product, make it a premium product. So for the people, they can afford quality, something like that. Yes.
Yes, and then I can relate to that. I mean, because if you go into the township, like you said, I think bread is one of the main things that the people use with just about everything besides the maize meal. And I think it's a necessity. So it's nice to see that you've actually, bridged that gap and, of course, helped reach out to the people, but of course, in an affordable manner. And I think that's what's important because, as you were saying, the price of bread goes up all the time. And then sometimes people can't afford it.
Exactly. When I started, it was something. Actually, I don't really consider much of maybe an entrepreneur kind of person. I'm just a hustler mentality. I just approach things with high expectation in return because I don't calculate this so much. I just think and do, and if it doesn't work out, it's fine. So when we started, I just had this mentality that I just want to bring relief to the society, and I just want to see many people affording this bread. And then as time goes, we started really investing much on the quality because I started understanding this bread thing. Because at first it was just an idea or the concept. So, but when we go on, then we make it to the point that we now speaking to the people's heart. That this is a very important product for you at a very affordable price, at a very convenient location of you. So it started making sense even to many people because if it's not a business that was triggered by somebody wanted to make money. It was somebody who's seen the struggle that is going to come and able to go to the bank actually ask for a personal loan and start this thing because I didn't calculate any risk. I don't want to lie. I just went it there with just big head and expect things to go my way kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's what makes you now an entrepreneur, not a hustler, because you've learned so much and you've taught yourself so much and you've acquired so many skills. And the great thing about your story is you're now actually empowering other people through your skills. What you have a business now with 25 employees, I believe.
Exactly, yeah. I don't like to use this word entrepreneur thing because I feel it's getting abused quite a lot by many people who don't even belong to the category in particular. Um, I think I've acquired many skills from different people. I'm a very open-minded person. When I engage with people, I engage them with an open mind. See that maybe what can I take from anyone. We've been around different angles of the world. We've seen different situations. So I'm a very soft-minded person who always open my mind to criticism, to learn, to reconstruct how I was looking life. So I'm a product of the people. I'm the product of the world, South Africa in particular, because there's quite a lot that's happening around here. So as I've said, since I was exposed to the corporate world, I was working with different cultures, different ideologies. I'm a township person. So I've seen different angles of life. So I felt this is enough for me to just raise my head and do something that I think is going to work my own personal way. So at first, it was just an idea, but as time goes, I started putting much effort in it, whereby I end up leaving my corporate world, and then I started focusing full time on this thing to run it a very untraditional way because of their business run a certain traditional way. They will tell you this industry, this is how you do things for you to make an impact. So I started thinking to do business like this bread business my own personal way, my own views way kind of thing, because when we started we never had a truck or a van or a vehicle for us to distribute our bread. So we were just using the shopping carts, these ShopRite trolleys, those kind of things to deliver around. But prior to that, we were using the bicycle to deliver the bread. So those things all together are very, very untraditional. So to people, it was like we having fun. So, but I was fighting with what I have at where I am. And then the only thing that I was really paying much attention to is that are my clients happy with the product that they get? Are we giving them enough quality? So much of them, they never cared on where the product is coming from. They were just happy to see the bread in a very quality produced way, in a very fresher way, I can put it that way. So now, since we have a truck that we use to distribute around and stock. But I find my business very traditional. So I wanted things that they can give people energy and another excitement that, oh, this business is a very unique one, you know. So I started going back to the same traditional way of us using the shopping carts to distribute bread around. So that's where the job opportunity came from. And then we started not really advertising, but attracting these township boys with enough energy, with enough skills to go around and sell. So that's where the vacancy for selling came, and then of which it was a very convenient way, because of coincidental when we start this idea of using it was that time where the lockdown was starting, so everything just co-joined together because of people were going to be locked down in their houses. So we started going to them, selling bread on their doorsteps, on their streets. So the room for us to become a very unique bakery, it came from that ideology of us doing things in a very different way. So that's where we created these 15 jobs, and of which it was really not making sense when it started, but it improved our cash flow. It makes our business unique. It makes our business very different from other businesses around.
It does. I like the idea because I'm going to call it a mobile bakery because the bakery goes
Exactly.
to you. You don't go to the bakery. So I like the concept because the thing is that especially in the townships, you find a lot of people actually, they don't have access to get to the store, to the bakery as such. So you taking the bakery to them. So I quite like the idea. So we're going to call it the mobile bakery.
Exactly, it's fine.
Refiloe, how does it feel to interact knowing that, now you have so many people working for you and you've helped them out in the sense that they can now sustain themselves in some way by selling the bread and, of course, taking it out to the people out there. I'm sure it's such a nice feeling knowing that you have 25 employees on board, that you are now, of course, empowering in many directions.
It looks nice from far, but doing it's another task altogether, because of I always redefine myself, and when I reposition myself, that if I was reporting to myself, how I was going to, like, how would I expect to be treated, and then what kind of a leader would I expect from this person. So there are a lot of things that I do towards myself to empower myself first, because of I think it's a very essential thing to be led by somebody who has vision, but who has a respect at the same time, who knows history, kind of thing. So I always strive to put much source into myself, to develop myself, to become a very sharp individual. And then I psychologically work these people with a very open mindset, because of I once at their age, but part of them, the others, we are in the same age group, you know. So I try by all means to inspire hope to them, and then to always showcase to them that this is not just the time where you spending your energy or your effort on something that is not created for the future. So what you're doing here is not what you think it may look like, because of it's not easy just to go around and celebrate with trolleys and stuff, because there's a lot of peer pressure going to the youth or maybe the township. So I try by all means to psychologically put my people in order, to discipline them where I can be able to do so. But at the same time, I can't do that alone. I also expect them to play part in this vision of ours. But most definitely, I can say they are quite convinced that, okay, we are not wasting our time here. We are not working for this guy. We are working for ourselves in this business. So we fighting for our own survival. We creating our own wealth, if it's possible, something like that, you know.
That's great to see the mutual relationship happening because what it is you're growing your bakery, but at the same time, you're growing your employees as well.
Exactly, because I read most of I read quite a lot. I read most the books, not necessarily the entrepreneurial books, but the developing books, whereby I can be 10 steps ahead of what's happening, so I can foresee some problems before they can even take place in reality. I read about most of the things that they can happen. Somebody can steal money, so I can't be taken down by such things. Somebody can just behave so bad in the business because of, as much as there are 25 different problems, 25 weaknesses, 25 problems and stuff. So I go as far as wanna solve those things before they can even take place.
Well, that's why you're known as the Bread King, because the thing is, you're the king of your empire there as well. So I think you're doing a phenomenal job. Your story is so phenomenal. It has definitely gotten us going. It's nice to see people like you, persevere and not give up and face your challenges head on, but also inspire other people to follow in your footsteps and empower them. And of course, help them create sustainability for themselves. What message do you have for our listeners?
No. Particularly, I like engaging much with young people, the same ages of ours. There are a lot of things that happen in South Africa. We can never change such things. We are here. We're facing these problems, not previous problems. So with us thinking, how can we solve from here to move forward? It can little bit shift our mentality because of, if we wanna dwell on things that happened in the past, we can never go anywhere. So I redefine myself and be like, okay, cool, what's happening? I'm here. How old I am, where I wanna be, what kind of a South Africa that I wanna see. Then I started working on my thing, and then it became easy because I was just straightforward on what problem am I solving. And then young people as well, they must try not to be money orientated, because of their things that are important more than money. So with our bread, as much as I will say we don't have money, but we impact so many people around us with what we're doing. So business is something that takes time. It's gonna pay when is the time to pay. But for now, this is the time for us to pay this business so it can pay for future. We can't just step into the business, so massive industry, and expect to see returns so much quick. It doesn't make sense. So young people have to be able to pay these industries or business or life generally with the time, so they can expect the life to pay them back, so we can make South Africa a very better place.
You are so right. You couldn't have said that better. We want to thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. You've definitely been an inspiration to us, and I think many of our listeners. We wish you nothing but the best of success going forward in the future. And thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time and effort.
Can I leave my social media handles?
Yes, sure, you may.
Okay, on Instagram is Borotho, which is BOROTHO_bakery. And then on Facebook is Borotho, which is BOROTHO space bakery enterprise Pty Ltd. Yeah, the people can follow and like us on our social media pages.
I'm sure they're definitely going to do that. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And we hope you stay safe during this very difficult lockdown period. And we, of course, also wishing you much success from myself and the Salam Media team. Thank you so much, Refiloe. You've only been an inspiration to us this afternoon.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. You take care, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, take care. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye. And that was Refiloe from Borotho Bakery, meaning simply bread. And I think he's such an inspirational person, starting off from the age of 8 and definitely built up his own empire through, of course, baking bread every day. Started off with making 20 loaves. He's now making between 500 and 700 loaves a day. So definitely an inspiration. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly with wholesome eating.